Today, we're going to dive into the Vet Burnout Survival Guide. It comes from the Veterinary Receptionist podcast. And you know what? It's made for the folks who are the absolute backbone of every single clinic out there. So let's get right into it.
Right out of the gate, the guide just hits you with this. Let's just let that sink in for a second. You are not too sensitive, you are under-resourced. This isn't about you not being tough enough to handle the job. No, it's about being asked to do something nearly impossible without the support you actually need. And that's the big idea we're exploring today.
So to really get a handle on how this burnout actually shows up, the guide uses this really brilliant idea, archetypes. Now, these aren't meant to stick you in a box. They're just a way to give a name to what you might be feeling, this week, or maybe even this afternoon. Let's see which ones hit home for you. Okay, first up, the hollow glove. You know this feeling. It's pure autopilot. You're there, you're doing your job, you're saying all the right things, being polite, but on the inside, it feels like you're in low battery mode, just a shell going through the motions. And then there's the withered healer. And man, this one really hurts. You got into this work because you care so much, but you've given and given until the tank is just empty. The will to help is still there, but the emotional fuel to actually do it, it's gone. Next, we have the empathy sponge. If you're this person, you soak up every single emotion that walks in the door. The client's sadness, their anger, their stress. The guide calls it being like a haunted paper towel, which is just perfect. You end up so saturated with everyone else's feelings. And last but not least, the vanishing overseer. This is for every single person doing those 1,000 tiny invisible jobs that keep the whole clinic from just falling apart. You are the glue. But because nobody sees all that work, the weight of it feels even heavier and it goes completely unacknowledged. So, just take a breath. Do any of these sound familiar? Maybe you've been all 4 of them in a single week. Hey, I get it. Just putting a name to it is the first step. Now, let's talk about the why. Why does this happen in the first place? And this right here is maybe the most important takeaway. Burnout in the vet world is not a personal failure. It is not a sign that you are weak or that you're not cut out for this. The guide is crystal clear. This is a systems problem, and it has a very, very real human cost. And look, this isn't just a vibe. The numbers back it all up. The guide points to some really tough data, a seriously high suicide risk in the profession. It makes it clear that support teams are carrying these massive emotional loads, sometimes even heavier than the vets. And then you pile on just crushing student debt. Yeah, these are big systemic problems. Wow, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's not just that you're running a marathon, which is already incredibly difficult. It's that you're being asked to do it while the building all around you is on fire. It perfectly captures that constant, overwhelming, and often impossible pressure. Okay, so knowing the system is broken is validating, but it doesn't help you in the middle of a chaotic shift. So, what can you actually do in the moment? This next part is all about immediate, practical tools, little 3-minute rituals to help you find your feet again. Let's walk through them. First, a 60-second reboot. It's just a simple breathing trick to calm your nervous system. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, and a long exhale for 6. Do that 5 times. Second, find a mirror and say this to yourself, I'm not behind, I'm carrying a lot. It's about reframing that feeling of struggle into one of strength. And third, the receipt audit. At the end of your day, just write down 3 things you did that actually mattered. It's a way to prove to yourself that you made a difference. All right, let's zoom out again for a second. The guide has this really powerful way of looking at the role of front desk staff. It reframes the job not as just support, but as a crucial form of leadership. Seriously, think about it. You're not just answering phones, you are the buffer. You are the one absorbing a client's financial anxiety, translating really complex medical stuff, holding space for their grief, all while juggling staffing shortages. That's not just customer service, that is a high-level leadership skill, period. And sometimes the only way to process the absolute absurdity of it all is just to laugh. So the guide includes some crazy clinic stories. Because that shared humor, it's a powerful tool for connection and, frankly, for survival. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up, right? The Labrador who ate an entire pair of jeans and the x-ray just shows a denim buffet. Or the person who brought a literal chicken in a tote bag to the lobby. And of course the cat who goes full Spider-Man up the exam room curtain. We've all got a story like that. Okay, so laughing is great, but real, tangible support is absolutely essential. So let's finish up by looking at the resources the guide points to for when you need more help.
And before we do, a really quick but very important note. This guide is here to help you feel seen and to point you towards support. It is not, and I repeat, not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you are in crisis, please reach out for help immediately.
So here are some actual places you can turn. Not One More Vet, or NOMV, has an incredible peer support network. The AVMA website has a whole hub of well-being resources. There's also something called the ProQOL self-assessment, which can help you see where your compassion fatigue levels are at. And most important, if you're in the US and need help right now, you can call or text 988, anytime, day or night.
Let's leave it with this final thought, because it's just too important. You are not just anything. You're not just front desk. You're not just a tech. You are, as the guide puts it, clinical reality translation in human form. You are essential, you matter, and you absolutely deserve to be supported.